Hi, hello. Who have we got? We've got Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you? Nicci has switched off her camera. I see Flo.
Hi, Nicci.
Melanie. Hello, hello. Jeannie. There's Cindy.
Hi, Nicci.
Hi. So we've got a whole bunch of people joining us.
Oh.
Welcome. There's someone that's joined as iPhone. I don't know who you are, but you're very welcome. And I've gone ahead and muted everyone just for everyone else's benefit. Please feel free to keep your camera off if you want to do that. And while we're waiting for a few more people to join, you might want to just check that your phone is off if you're watching this on your laptop. Hi, Mel. I see you there. You're very welcome. To everyone who's just joined, everyone else, welcome. Christina, Irma. Thank you for all being punctual. I'm recording this for those who have booked but aren't able to make it. So if you would like a recording or a link to the recording, please feel free to let me know. And I will I will pop it into a message and send to you. So for now, I am delighted to have 10 of you to sit with me. There are another 10 or so that I'm expecting. And we have people signed up from all over the world. Thank you for sitting with me. You would have seen on the blurb that I put when I was announcing this class that I'm really missing the sense of community that comes from sitting in silence with like-minded people. And whilst I think most of us are so sick and tired of online meetings, it definitely serves a purpose. And even though the pandemic is nothing new to us now, it's not like last year when South Africa first went into our what we thought naively was going to be a 21-day lockdown. And I offered a daily meditation, a daily free sitting, just as a way of finding a sense of calm in the midst of the chaos that was raging all over the world. Even though this has almost become our new normal, life is nothing like it was. I watch with great delight football matches, Wimbledon recently, where not even that recent, but seeing these full stadiums, or not even full stadiums, but stadiums that have a bunch of people sitting there next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and they're not even wearing masks. And it's a sign, it's an indication that we're moving into a new normal. But South Africa is certainly still quite a way away from that. And so many of us have had our lives turned upside down because of COVID. The loss of lives, the loss of livelihoods, the changes that have been brought about. I know that some of you have had to move home. Some of you have had to move countries. Financial situations that have changed, relationships that have changed. And it might be because of COVID directly, or it might be indirectly because of COVID. I cannot think of a better time than now to either start or deepen a meditation practice. And my hope is that this group grows and grows. I would really encourage you to spread the word if you find it helpful. The idea is not that we find peace, although that may be a byproduct of a meditation practice. The idea is not that we clear our minds, although that may also be something that happens on occasion. That we have a glimpse, perhaps, of the vast, pure awareness that exists beneath all of the thoughts. No, the idea of sitting with each other is that we start prioritizing time for ourselves. And I know that many of you have children and other distractions, and that it might be difficult for you to really stay focused. So just do what you can. That we prioritize time for ourselves, where we can just pause and turn our attention inwards without needing anything on the outside to change. We don't wait for the perfect time. We don't wait for conditions to be different. We start to develop the capacity to be okay with things exactly as they are, even if they aren't comfortable. And even if we really wish that they could be different. This is really the gift of a meditation practice, a mindfulness practice, is that it gives us the capacity to become fully present, fully aware of everything that we're carrying. And we learn to breathe smoothly and slowly, and we learn to recognize where in our bodies we are holding our tension, and we develop the capacity to soothe ourselves from the inside out. The format of these sessions is going to be very relaxed, very informal. I have two children here who may or may not be heard at points. I don't want you to feel that you need to always commit to being here, or even let me know if you can't be here. I want this to be an open room where you are welcome to join me for as many sessions as you'd like and for as long as you'd like. If you can join me for the full, let's say 45 minutes to an hour, that's wonderful. If you're only able to take the first few minutes before something demands your attention, that's also fine. The last thing that we need is to have our meditation practice become something that stresses us out. That would just be the ultimate paradox. I am so grateful to each and every one of you for the input that you gave, the answers that you gave to my questions when you signed up. There are some of you who are seasoned meditators. There's some who are absolute beginners. Everyone is welcome. And one of the suggestions with a mindfulness practice or a meditation practice is that we always bring a beginner's mind, which means that no matter how many times we have sat, no matter how we rate ourselves in terms of our ability to meditate, we turn up every single time with a beginner's mind, as if it's our first time. And we suspend any expectations. We don't try and curate or create a particular experience. We just see what unfolds and see whether it's possible to find our ease with whatever that is. Just to say, there is no such thing as a bad meditation. The very act that you are all here means that you are willing to become more self-aware and through that awareness start opening towards the possibility of a more compassionate approach to not just life and others, but to ourselves as well. There is no room for criticism or judgment of ourselves in a meditation practice. And you'll hear more about that over the weeks if you do come back. There may be some days that we do that I take you on a guided meditation where I read from a script. There'll be many times that we just do a mindfulness meditation. And the kind of meditation that I lead is often called a returning meditation, because I encourage you to return to your breath and to the present moment again and again and again. So let's get started. Those of you that have meditated with me before, you may already be sitting or lying down. Those of you that are new, just a reminder that the position that you take isn't important, but posture is very important. If you are lying down on the ground, which you may wish to do, please ensure that your spine is beautifully lengthened. You might want to bring a pillow under your head or even under the back of your knees. If you really want to go for a deep relaxation, you might want to put an eye pillow on your eye, over your eyes. Maybe sprinkle some lavender oil onto it. Maybe pull up a blanket. I always have a candle burning. I create a real little nest. And just for those of you that do have children, I know that the very young ones can really be a challenge, but just an encouragement from my part to use this meditation as an opportunity to practice compassion towards them and to yourself anytime there are distractions. And your children might be pets as well that demand attention just when you want to start giving yourself some attention. See whether you can notice the demands for your attention and see whether you can receive them and experience them with equanimity. Noticing if there's irritation building up in you and just knowing that that's okay. Taking a deep breath. Letting it go. I am phenomenally strict with my children. Well, I don't need to be anymore because they are now 10 and 12. But when they were little, I made it categorically clear that when I sat in meditation, and in those days when they were little, it was maybe only 10 minutes at a time, that I was available for cuddles, but I wasn't available for dialogue or refereeing. And they very quickly came to realize that they could sit with me, because any attempts to distract me would just not be responded to unless obviously there was a crisis. So lying down, we've covered. If you do fall asleep, that's absolutely fine. As a rule, we try not to fall asleep during a meditation, but I always feel that if you're really tired and if you really need to sleep, then by all means, allow yourself to drift off. Otherwise, trying to drift just above sleep and just listen. If you're sitting up, you might want to sit on a chair, which is what I'm doing tonight, both feet flat on the floor. You might want to lean back against the back of a chair, or you might want to sit tall with your spine, your back away from the back of the chair. Again, it doesn't matter as long as your spine is lengthened. You want to imagine that you are sitting in a beautiful, dignified pose, alert but not rigid. And one of the reasons for the length in the spine is so that you can breathe fully. And if you imagine that we are energetic beings, you might even want to visualize your energy spiraling up your spine on the inhale and spiraling down your spine on the exhalation. So I'll talk a bit more about posture in a moment, but going ahead and closing your eyes if they're not already closed. You might want to be sitting on the floor, leaning against a bed perhaps, or on a meditation stool or a meditation cushion. Just remember, I'll leave a few minutes at the end of this session for any questions around the practicalities or any particular questions you might have. And I like to start every single meditation that I do with 3 deep breaths. So let's go ahead. Take a deep breath in through the nose as you lengthen through your spine. And sigh it out your mouth, a slow sigh, relaxing your shoulders. Another deep breath in, lengthening through the length of your spine, maybe imagining a golden thread from the crown of your head up towards the sky. And as you let out a slow, gentle breath, you might imagine that you can start to feel some tension draining from your body down into the earth. One more slow, deep breath in, feeling your belly rising. Hold that breath inside your body at the top of the breath. And even as you hold that breath in, see if you can relax your face and relax your shoulders. Take another little sip of air in. Hold that breath inside your body as you relax your shoulders and your face. And then sigh it out. Gentle, beautiful sigh out. As you take the next breath in, feeling the base of your body, feeling how it is making contact with whatever surface you're sitting on or lying on. And as you breathe out, feel that you are fully relaxing down into the support that's there. Next breath in, feeling the length of your spine from the base of the spine all the way to the base of the neck, lengthening as you do. And with the next breath out, imagining any tension in the muscles on either side of your spine, softening and releasing. Next, slow breath in, bringing your attention to the whole of your head, feeling how your head is balancing beautifully on top of your neck. And as you breathe out, softening the muscles around your eyes, your jaw, your temples, the whole face, the whole brain relaxed. Next, deep breath in, feeling the front and the back of your shoulders, relaxing. And as you breathe out, feeling the whole of the upper body, the shoulders, the neck, the whole of the rib cage relaxing. Next breath in, feeling the length of both of your arms, all the way to your hands. And as you breathe out, feeling your arms and your hands relaxing. Next breath in, feeling your belly rising gently. And as you breathe out, allowing the muscles around your navel to totally relax. So your belly is soft. Maybe taking a few more slow breaths here. Myself and so many other people hold so much tension in the belly. It's like we are waiting for the next sucker punch of life to be thrown at us. So holding the attention at the belly, maybe even bringing your hands to your belly. I know this can be a difficult area for some people in a world that is constantly telling us to pull in our bellies. It can take quite a lot of discipline to just soften suspending any criticism about your physical body, and knowing that when you soften those muscles around your navel, you're enabling yourself to take beautiful deep breaths all the way deep down into your body. We're staying here at the belly, and we're really trying to soften the shoulders as we deepen our breath. The slow diaphragmatic breathing, breathing all the way down into our belly, is one of the best ways to get us out of the stress response. It can take quite a bit of practice to learn how to breathe into the belly, because especially when we're stressed, we tend to breathe into the very upper reaches of our rib cage, of our lungs, these shallow breaths that signal to the body and the brain that we're in danger. And we're still focusing here on softening our belly and seeing whether it's possible to feel the belly rise on the inhalation and fall on the exhalation. And every time you find your thoughts drifting away, just know that that's normal. And bringing your attention back to 3 more deep, full breaths into your belly. Seeing if you can extend the exhalations. Slowing it down, knowing that your belly can rise by up to 5 centimeters. Moving the attention away from the belly with the next breath in. We're feeling the whole body as we breathe in. Noticing where there may be tension, and with the next breath out, seeing whether you can soften into those areas. Breathing in as you scan through the body, looking for tension. Breathing out as you imagine your breath like a beautiful healing balm that's softening any areas that are tight. And now turning the attention to one particular point in your body where you are most aware of your breath. If you've done this before, you might automatically notice a point where you usually feel your breath. Remember, beginner's mind, not doing what you've always done, but paying attention as if this is the very first time you're doing this practice. So we are just noticing where in our body we feel our breath this evening. For those of you that haven't done this practice before, you may already have found a spot, or perhaps you feel your breath most acutely in the tips of your nostrils. Or perhaps one nostril more than the other. You might be more aware of the flow of breath in the nasal cavities. Perhaps you're breathing through your mouth, in which case you might be most aware of your breath in your mouth, in the back of your throat. It may be a vague awareness of air flowing in and out of your lungs. It doesn't have to be a specific identifiable area. It can be a general awareness. It might be that you feel that you are breathing, that you're most aware of your breathing in the upper lobes of your lungs. Or perhaps it is the expansion and contraction of your rib cage. If it's in your rib cage, you might want to get even more specific. You might be able to identify that you are feeling a front to back movement the most. Or perhaps it's a side to side expansion and contraction. Or even top to bottom. We're not trying to control the breath at this point. We're handing the act of breathing over to our body. So whilst we were focusing on the deep belly breathing earlier, now we letting go of any attempt to control the breath. We are just breathing naturally. And finding one particular point or area where we can rest our attention. You might feel your belly rising and falling. It might be a more holistic awareness of your whole body breathing. It might even be the flow of air on your upper lip if you're breathing in and out through your nose. We're paying attention on purpose to where we feel our breath. And we're not judging what we're observing. What you might find is that there are questions arising around whether or not you're doing this right. You are doing it right. You might find that you are incredibly distracted. Your mind darting off in a million different directions. That is perfectly normal, and that doesn't make this a bad meditation. Every single moment that you notice that your thoughts have wandered from that particular point where you feel your breath, that is a moment of enlightenment. Because you are noticing. And it's only when we notice that we've drifted, or perhaps that we are moving into the realm of thought and analysis and criticism, judgment. That is a moment where we can choose our response. And that is what this practice is all about. It's becoming aware of where our thoughts are going, becoming aware of our inner dialogue, and choosing how to respond. For the purpose of this meditation, the response that we are choosing again and again is to simply come back to that one particular point or area in our body where we are most aware of our breath. And that is what we do. You may wonder what the merits are of becoming aware or focusing on one particular point. That you feel your breath. It's just one of the many, many techniques that we can use to start to develop our capacity to choose one thought over another. It doesn't matter how many times your thoughts are darting away, whether it's every 5 breaths, or every 10 breaths, or every single breath. Our response is the same. Our response is to notice. It can be very helpful to label the kind of thing that's distracting you, especially if it's a thought or an emotion, by simply labeling whatever it is. We very quickly start to become more aware of our internal landscape and our internal dialogue, building a greater self-awareness right from the start. And by labeling the thoughts or the emotions, I mean, for example, worry or analyzing, planning, criticizing, problem solving. When we notice emotions, we might be able to recognize them as sadness or irritation, frustration, heaviness, peace. It might be something that defies definition. The simple act of labeling can really help us to understand what we're carrying without needing to justify it, without needing to explain it to ourselves or to others. And we might, over time, realize that there is a pattern if and when we notice that there's a pattern, it's not even that we need to do anything with that knowledge. It's just that we have a keener understanding of how we're really feeling. Because this is the practice of mindfulness. We allow everything and anything to be here. So many of us carrying heavy things. So many of us feeling that we need to put a smile on our faces and just get on with it. So many conflicting emotions in the unprecedented times that we are living through. The time that we sit together, the time that we sit on our own, is a time where we roll out the welcome mat for everything without needing to justify it or explain it. Meditations can be very different day to day, week to week. Sometimes they leave us feeling heavy. Sometimes they leave us feeling energized. Remember, we aren't trying to curate an experience or a feeling. We are sitting with whatever arises, the good, the bad, and the ugly, with ease. There might be tears sometimes. There might be a sense of bliss sometimes. Whatever is there, it's likely to have a particular charge in our physical body. We are becoming aware of where in our bodies we might hold tension, and we use our breath without needing even to control our breath. We can use the very next out breath to just relax into our physical body. It might be the muscles around your eyes. It might be the muscles around your mouth. Perhaps you're clenching your jaw. Perhaps you can feel a tightening or a tension in your shoulders or your neck, the base of the skull, the muscles on either side of your spine or your belly. And perhaps it's a sense of your whole body just moving back into that stress response where you're just feeling on edge, which is so normal given what we're all going through. And even if our own personal lives in the moment are smooth, there is collective trauma in the world. We all have friends and family who are struggling. We are bombarded every day with news from all over the world of things that aren't working, and our body keeps the score. We can become so accustomed to being on edge that we don't even realize how much tension we're holding in our body. So when we sit in a formal practice like this with each other, we are practicing noticing. Where our beautiful, wise bodies are desperately trying to protect us from a perceived threat. And we are learning how to override that stress response simply by softening into our bodies, slowing down our breathing, knowing that a relaxed body and a slower, deeper breath is a clear signal to our body, to our brain, that we're safe. Just 5 minutes of a conscious breathing practice where we are softening our body and returning to our breath is enough to move us from the sympathetic nervous system response of fight, flight, or freeze to the parasympathetic nervous response of rest, digest, and repair. by using this focal point of breath awareness, bringing our attention back to that one particular point again and again, we have an anchor to the present moment. The point of power is always in the present moment. You may have noticed over our time this evening that when your thoughts drift away, they tend to move into future thinking or into past thinking. And inevitably, when we are thinking about the future, which is completely uncertain, or the past over which we have no control, there is an accompanying stress response in the body. That is normal. By returning our attention to the present moment, by reconnecting with our breath and with our embodied presence, we can choose to soften and self-soothe. Once we learn how to do this in a formal meditation practice, and remember it's called a practice. I've been meditating for more than 30 years. I learn every single day. By learning, by showing up for ourselves, we develop the capacity to take our practice out of the formal setting and into an informal setting where we notice when our thoughts are spiraling out of control, when we're freaking ourselves out, worrying about things that are out of our control, when we're tensing up into our body, knowing that we aren't going to respond or show up in a way that serves us or the situation the best. We start to recognize that we can take a deep breath in and sigh it out, so that we can move forward from a more grounded, more mindful space. Three deep breaths to close our sitting. Breathing in through the nose for a count of 4. Breathing out for the count of 8. Breathing in for 4. As you breathe out for 8, see whether you can soften into any of those common areas of tension. Last beautiful deep breath in. And sigh it out. If and when you are ready to come out of your meditation, go gently. If you want to stay on, go ahead. Be gentle with yourselves. If there are any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat or even unmute yourself and ask a question. For those that need to go or want to go, thank you so much for joining me. It's so lovely to see a bunch of familiar names and a few new ones. We have Tanya from Moscow. We have Nicholas in quarantine in London. I'm so glad you could hop on, even though I know you had a tricky connection. Carrie's in Cape Town, Cindy, Mel, Cape Town too. Jeannie's in Blighty, good old England. Nicci, I think you're in Cape Town. Christina holding the fort in Hout Bay with 3 little kiddies. I hope you were able to get some downtime. Irma, I'm not sure where you live. Yolanda, I think you're Stellenbosch, right? Karika, I have no idea. Flo, Stellenbosch. Please spread the word. I want to keep this going, and I'm going to be here whether or not you all are. If it works for you, you've got the link now. It'll always be the same link. Next week, we will continue with breath awareness. And yeah, look after yourselves. Brackenfell, northern suburbs. Thanks, Yolanda. Wolmaranstad, lekker, Northwest Province. I've never been there, but I like saying it. Wolmaranstad. Nurtuk, Karika, wonderful. Thank you, guys. This is what we call Sangha. Those of you that are familiar with the term, it means community, but it's so much more than community. It's a spiritual family, and spiritual means different things to different people. I have always said that the people that I meditate with are my favorite people in the whole world, because there is a shared appreciation for the incredible teachings of silence. The belief or the hope that within every single one of us, we have this pool of deep wisdom. And that if we become quiet enough, we start to not just hear it, but trust it. Right, sleep well. Doesn't seem that anyone wants to talk. So I bid you well. Sleep tight. Irma, I'm going to put the recording. I think the best will be that you drop me a message on Instagram. I know that's how we connected. Or send me an email. I'll pop my email address here and then I will send it to you. All right. Bye, Nicci. Nice to see you. I love your glasses. They're lovely. Okay. Night, night.